Actually have a heat advisory in effect for today. Our heat indices, though, failed to get really super high. In a lot of spots, they stopped at about 105. Few spots closer to 110. So we actually don't have a heat advisory issued for tomorrow, even though we're expecting almost exactly the same kind of heat. Notice that dew point temperature lower to middle 70s. That makes a big difference when, of course, calculating the relative humidity and the heat index. Temperatures right now, middle 90s in a lot of spots. Now, keep in mind Mandeville and our Gonzales sites, they tend to run a little higher than I think the air temperature and humidity actually suggest. So a lot of spots actually feeling like up to about 105 right now. Afternoon highs were mainly in the lower to middle 90s. Again, Gonzales tends to run a bit high, we've noticed. And here is our live radar showing around Diamond Head, Mississippi, and not far from Bay St. Louis, where you could take the train in the coming days if you'd like. You can see that there is a thunderstorm moving from north to south there, so some relief from the heat coming, and also a pretty decent bit of rain, and also a few tiny showers are showing up right now not far from Kentwood and Franklinton. Nothing really happening along our north shore of Lake Pontchartrain or our metro area of New Orleans spots at the moment. We were just sizzling today. Temperatures moving through the 80s this evening. Overnight tonight, north and south of the lake, you can look for middle to upper 70s with a low chance for a shower. And in fact, any rain should be wrapping up, it looks like, in the next couple of hours. And then tomorrow, another standard summer kind of forecast, 94, 95 or so for the high, and a chance for a couple of showers. This is our forecast through tomorrow morning. Actually, this model does have a couple of morning showers. Not sure if these will pan out, but just a heads up, there might be a couple around early. This is noon. We'll go to 3 p.m. and little better chance to get a few showers and storms there. I have the rain chance near 30%, and 5 p.m. some rain wrapping up, and then this is 9 p.m. looks much quieter. Our big high pressure area has been really dominating over the past couple of days, and notice that it is expected to shift out slowly to the west, and so that is going to keep us actually mostly still with similar kind of heat and humidity, as well as a few spotty storms through the middle part of the week. But then look what happens. We start to get a weak trough of low pressure starting to build into the southeast at the end of this coming week, and I'm sure you spotted over here. That is the circulation around Aaron wrapping around a big weakening high pressure ridge over the Atlantic. So that's what's driving the forecast for Aaron, which is a very strong Category 5 hurricane as of tonight, and it was even this morning. So those winds still 160 miles per hour. And notice it's not the hugest storm, but we are expecting it to expand in size, maybe even by 2 or 3 times in the coming days. And we are expecting also for it to curve to the north. So again, I was showing you radar here around Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands getting some downpours at this point, but the center with those strongest winds, thankfully off to the northeast of those Caribbean islands. Our forecast models are bringing it out to the slowly northwest, curving around that big high, and then curving it all the way to the northeast, sort of around Bermuda and off the east coast of the U.S. Likely a still Category 3 storm by the middle of this upcoming week. So this is just churning a ton of energy, and also is going to be a big system over these warm Atlantic waters. Models in good agreement for the most part with that track around the high and off to the northeast. Around the east coast of the U.S., aside from some high surf and some rip currents throughout a big chunk of the upcoming week, thankfully, it doesn't look like they'll have to deal with hurricane or tropical storm force, even winds, or a lot of rain associated with it. So coastal conditions, in the waters could be a bit rough, but otherwise looking okay for the U.S. East Coast. No other threats at this point. Notice by next weekend, that trough could bring a few more showers and storms and a little relief from the heat. We'll be right back.